Travis Scott has cemented himself as one of the biggest and most creative artists of this generation. Over the past 8 years, he's created a whole new iconic sound and dropped many classic rap albums. But none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for legendary producer Mike Dean, who's appeared on every Travis Scott project since 2013. The question is, what is it about Mike Dean's production that keeps Travis Scott coming back? After listening to Mike Dean's most iconic songs with Travis Scott, I've noticed 3 main things that make up his signature sound: unique sound design and texture, hard-hitting mixes, and of course, those euphoric analog synths. Let's take a deeper look into the techniques Mike Dean uses to create his legendary sound and figure out why Travis Scott is so obsessed with his production. To start off our Mike Dean beat, we need to lay down some dark synth chords. I've grabbed 2 synth pads from my mini stash analog lab bank and laid down some simple, moody chords. This sounds cool, but in a lot of his production, Mike Dean uses pitch modulation to really spice up his synths. A great example of this is the outro to Highest in the Room. To create a similar sound, all you need to do is play with the mod wheel on your keyboard like this. If you listen to What to Do on the Jack Boys album, you can hear that mean, gritty synth bass that's signature to Mike Dean's sound, and really helps bring Travis Scott's dark, unique, futuristic sound to life. To recreate this sound, I grabbed this Moog Hell bass preset from my analog lab bank. This is sounding nice, but to achieve that thick, distorted bass sound that's signature to Travis Scott's sound, I would highly recommend adding some distortion to your bass. Let's listen to the before and after. Now that we have a solid foundation for our beat, we're going to take it to that next level with one of Mike Dean's favorite instruments, the guitar. You might be thinking, this sounds cool, but it definitely doesn't sound like Travis Scott. And that's because it's missing a key element to Mike Dean's production: unique sound design with effects. You can hear that signature drunk, psychedelic guitar tone on Travis Scott's Antidote. So to recreate that sound, I've added an army of effects. But let me break down the essential ones. So the first thing we add is some guitar amps. Then some reverb. And then this crazy warp delay sound. To get that warped, detuned kind of delay sound, what you want to do is go in and mess with the modulation settings on your delay plugin. After I had that, I listened to this half-speed guitar section on Piss on Your Grave. Yeah! So I half-sped the guitar for the intro to our beat to enhance that psychedelic, warped kind of sound. And this is what that sounds like. So we've got some nice synth chords and guitar that really set us up for a nice Travis Scott beat. But there's one thing Mike Dean does that instantly takes Travis Scott songs to the next level: adding analog ear candy. And if you've got a crazy collection of analog gear like Mike Dean, this part should be easy. But for the rest of us, analog one-shots are a great way to add that texture into your beats. So I've grabbed some accent and run one-shots from my $5 mini stash kit, and this is what those sound like with no effects. But as we saw with the guitar, adding effects is essential to Travis Scott's sound. So after adding a ton of effects, this is what our accents sound like. There's one cool trick I did here that Mike Dean uses all the time with Travis Scott: delay automation. Here's a great example of that. To get that automated delay effect here, I added some automation to the delay feedback and to the delay speed. Increasing the feedback and delay speed is going to mess with the volume, pitch, and the speed of this accent sound, which is really going to bring some unique flavor and really add to that signature Mike Dean Travis Scott sound. Although Mike Dean is not primarily known for his drums, his ability to mix hard-hitting drums is a key reason that Travis Scott keeps working with him. So let's dive in and make some hard-hitting Travis Scott style drums. So the first thing I've started with is a simple two-step hi-hat. And as you can see right here, there's a slight delay which makes it hit a little bit off beat, but really helps enhance the bounce of the beat. Then I layered it with some live hats and open hats for bounce, and this is what that sounds like. And then a simple snare. And then I added an extra snare with a ton of reverb at the end to spice up the end of the pattern and help it transition nicely into the next section. Now to add some knock, we need to add a kick. But I wanted to add some more variation, so I added a live kick sound to switch up the second section of the drums. Now to finish off these drums, I'm not going to add an 808 because if you listen to a lot of Mike Dean and Travis Scott songs, they use that dark synth bass to fill out the beat. We're about to get into some of Mike Dean's most signature techniques, but before that, if you've liked the sounds that I've used so far, check out my $5 mini stash kit that comes with all of the presets and one-shots that I've used so far. It's cheaper than a Starbucks coffee, and it comes with loops, midis, one-shots, analog live presets, and much, much more. I promise it's going to level up your production and give you some new inspiration, and the link for that is down in the description below. Another big reason Mike Dean is essential to Travis Scott's sound is his ability to create an evolving story with the music. One technique that Mike Dean uses is adding and subtracting elements in the beat. So to add some more interesting sounds to progress this beat, I took inspiration from this clip of Mike Dean using his talkbox. Now, since I don't have a talkbox myself, I'm going to recreate this sound digitally. So I started by recording some of my vocals. And then I ran it through this crazy plugin, Vocal Synth 2. From here, I wanted to go one step further and push that sound to the next level like Mike Dean does. So I added some heavy distortion and effects to give it more character. Now, following along with that evolving music theme, it's time to add Mike Dean's most signature sound, synth outros. Mike Dean's synth outros add so much character to Travis Scott's songs, and they've grown to become one of the most iconic parts of their collaboration. My favorite example of Mike Dean's classic synth outros is on the Scotts. And that's sounding crazy, so let's break down how we can recreate that. There are four main elements to a Mike Dean synth outro: synth chords, a thick synth bass, some filtered drums for texture, and those heavenly synth leads. Luckily, we already have the chords and the bass, so we can start by adding some warped drums like the ones in the Scotts. So this is our original drum loop. Once I had that, I half sped it, added some delay and distortion. Now, for the part everyone loves the most, some Mike Dean synth leads. To achieve this sound, you really want to play it live on your MIDI keyboard to give it that human feeling. So I went into my analog lab bank, grabbed 2 synth leads, and improvised these lead melodies. Once I had that, to put it to the true test, I put a Travis Scott acapella over it, and not gonna lie, this one turned out amazing. But before I play the finished product, if you've enjoyed this video so far, hit that subscribe button so I can keep making videos like this.
Fast if I had you, make that money back if I had you. Down with the keys and my rock stars spinning. Ain't nobody out here going hard for you. Out here going hard for you. You been working hard, you going hard for you. Yeah, you been going hard for you.
If you want to learn why Drake is so obsessed with OZ's production, click this video right here.